My name is Elvys Sandu, and I welcome you to our third event of the series called Flip Fashion, organized by TCBL through the EU-funded research and innovation project Herewear. This is a satellite event as part of the broader New European Bauhaus Festival in the form of an afternoon roundtable sessions where we try to untangle the means of how to radically change the fashion industry and flip fashion by touching topics from the field of bioeconomy, new production models, and last but not least, social ecosystem. Next slide, please. The New European Bauhaus is a creative and transdisciplinary movement adjacent to the European Green Deal, aiming at helping us Europeans on imagining and building together a sustainable and inclusive future that is beautiful for our eyes, minds, and souls. And by bridging different backgrounds and by cutting across disciplines, the New European Bauhaus creates a movement that helps facilitate the transformation of our society along its three core values: sustainability, aesthetics, and inclusion. By addressing topics like climate goals, circularity, biodiversity, style beyond functionality, valuing diversity, and securing accessibility and affordability. Next slide, please. Thank you. Some of these topics are also the key focus points of the Herewear project, through which, as I mentioned earlier, this event is happening. This project aims to shift the fashion industry from the linear model and from a globalized value chain, which we well know, has a significant social and environmental impact, towards a more circular model, locally or regionally produced, and and with bio-based fabrics. Next slide, please. Thank you. Next slide. Sorry. And coming back to the organizers of the event, TCBL, which started out as a EU-funded project and is now in the form of a non-profit, has the mission to connect people and organizations with the same core values, to nurture communities, and to help create, hopefully, a truly sustainable textile and clothing industry. And I would like to thank them for the opportunity to have been part of the TCBL network and to have discovered so many interesting people and ideas. Next slide, please. The first roundtable that happened on Tuesday was about bioregional models, where Maria Angela gave an inspiring talk on nature, society, and the textile industry, and we heard pitches from Maria Antonetta on how to connect agricultural waste to bioeconomy, and who is also working on the new European Bauhaus movement, and other pitches as well. Next slide, please. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to hear another inspiring talk from the likes of Annick, who is from the Fashion Green Hub, which had some amazing initiatives related to local production scenarios, and a round of pitches from Dieter from DITF, and Adrian Hill from Osmos, and Ravon from Ravon Gallery. Next slide, please. Thank you. Today, our first speaker and inspiration giver is Fiori from Fashion Revolution Greece, and the pitches that will follow are from Debora from Fashionlab, Miguel from Saber Fazer, Jocelyn, and I hope he's joining as well, from FASK, Sarah from Wear All, and Anca from Cuib and Redu, with its two social enterprises. And now I will invite Fiori, and I will introduce her a little bit. She's the head of a research center on sustainable fashion at the Athens University of Economics and Business. She's a social entrepreneur, a novelist, a policy advisor, and I think a lot of many other roles. And she will talk to us about social entrepreneurship and the green, ethical, and digital transition that the fashion and textile industry is undergoing, and how it can reach its shores. But I will let her introduce herself better and guide us through the presentation that she has prepared for us. Hello, Fiori.
Hello, Elvis. Thank you very much for the amazing introduction. I would like, first of all, to thank TCBL for organizing and hosting this series of events for the new European Bauhaus. I think we're all very proud for Europe to having this compass as the compass that the TCBL is creating in creating our projects, our visions, our science, and having the new European Bauhaus beautiful, sustainable, and inclusive as a compass to act. Moving on, maybe we can have we can see some slides. So I will. I'm talking on behalf of our research center on sustainable fashion and textiles at Athens University of Economics and Business, on the global movement, Fashion Revolution, leading the Greek office. We are celebrating this year 10 years of Fashion Revolution, and I'll come back to that. The Social Fashion Factory, SOFA, and Wear Your Origins brand. These are some of our projects and initiatives. So going on, we're going to, I've been asked to talk about social entrepreneurship. So my PhD was on social entrepreneurship, and I soon after submitting it, I came to Greece, back to Greece. I was studying at Brunel in London. I came back to Greece to turn my PhD thesis into an enterprise, and that was SOFA. So when we talk about social entrepreneurship, we are always acting on issues, on problems, on challenges. We will focus today on the industry of fashion and textiles, clothing and garment industry. So what are the main challenges today? Next. So the main challenges today on a social, environmental, and cultural level, I think we're all aware, and we've been discussing the last 10 years very loudly through the more than 100 offices of Fashion Revolution, many scientists, many initiatives, many groups like TCBL Foundation and others of these issues. Just in a few words, fashion is the fourth biggest polluter for Europe, is the first when it comes to microplastics in the ocean, 35% due to our clothes. It's the second industry in risk of human trafficking. I think the majority of us know that. And then there are all these cultural elements. Apart from the cultural appropriation, when we see big brands and using the culture and cultural heritage techniques of various African and Asian and even Greek regions for their own merit, that is what we call cultural appreciation. But there is also another side to it. It's the extinction of cultural heritage. As we all know, during the end of the 90s, the majority of Europe, Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, they stopped producing garments. And we all suddenly became importers. The production was shifted in Asia, in China mainly, and this brought serious problems in our industries and in all this lost and forgotten cultural heritage that is running in extinct. So these are some of the issues one could act on. So going next. So what are social enterprises? I think this is well founded also. So a social enterprise is a business that has primarily social or environmental objectives, and we set up a business model, an own income generating approach to act on these social and environmental issues. And it can take a variety of forms and models. So as Albert Einstein said, the world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil. How many Hitlers are there? As we were listening to a podcast yesterday from Mogao that. So how many evils? There are not so many evils, but because of those who look on and do nothing. And social entrepreneurship is about making a change. If we go next. I'm going to raise two elements today when it comes to social entrepreneurship. The one is the social innovation model. So the social innovation model, I ask myself, what is the change that I want to see in the world? What role do I play in that change? In order to design a business a model, an innovation model to act on the issues, so we have to choose one of these issues and challenges that are more pressuring to us. So identify the social or environmental issue, identify the target population of beneficiaries, identify your desired impact in your community. What is your theory of change? And that is more or less your value proposition. That is the way you're going to mix and match your resources, your core competencies, in order to provide a solution to your target beneficiaries. So what is the transformational change at the political, economic, cultural, and social level that you want to see? How are you going to mobilize resources? We usually see that there is a duality of objectives, because on one hand, we have to make income, raise income, and on the other hand, we have to make a social or environmental impact. The package or service or the products mix that you're going to offer, and creating a local movement. So it's all about, it's not about customers, it's about believers. It's about mobilizing people to act with you, to support you on this change. And here's an example of a canvas for impact. Going next, who is this social entrepreneur? That is also very important. What is their profile? Based on research, the only two demographics that have a causal effect into successful entrepreneurship is the enthusiasm of the founders and their networks. So it's nothing else. It's enthusiasm of the team and the entrepreneur and who they know and how they use these connections that they have. So if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So here are some characteristics of these social entrepreneurs. Who are they? The funny thing are the icons at the right bottom. So what my family thinks I do, they don't know. My family didn't know. I don't think even now, 10 years past, if they can actually describe what I'm doing, what society thinks I do, what my friends thinks I do, what I think I do, and what I actually do. You do everything. Moving on next. The social entrepreneurship model, and this is something that it's important to raise. This comes also from my research on my PhD and my postdoctorate at the moment at fashion supply chains. So it's relational perspective, it's relational elements and behavioral perspectives that explain the social entrepreneurship, the rise of social enterprise and the success of social enterprises. So it's taking a systems approach. You have to consider that steps and elements needs to happen on all four spheres. I have four spheres here: the political, the social, the individual, and the organizational. So it's all about decisions happening at the UN, at European Union, ILO, the International Labour Organization, OECD, OSCE, national states. So it's decisions that need to be made at a policy level. Then it's the social norms, the norms of the society on how things are done. Then it's at the organizational level. What is the business model, the social innovation model, and other elements composing an organization? And at the individual level, it's about the profile of the social entrepreneur. And you need to have specific decisions happening on all four spheres And at where we can see on the next graph, at the second graph, where these spheres intersect, it's where we have best case example of social enterprises. And 10 years ago, in 2014, when I submitted my PhD, it was the UK that was an example of a state that all these four were happening. So moving forward, this is something that I always like to show. On horizontally, we see the value chain of the fashion and textile industry, the linear one, and then all these axes and lines that you see in the connections, it's how it becomes circular. And this is where social entrepreneurship, movements, activists, community engagement need to happen, innovation. Going next, I'm going to present to you two examples of social entrepreneurship and movements. The one is SOFA, the Social Fashion Factory. SOFA is a best case example of an ethical and sustainable manufacturing in fashion. So how can we have a factory, a manufacturer, a ready-made garment manufacturer that that raises income by own activities? So we raise income and we provide our social and environmental impact only when we take orders. This is when we turn on our machinery, and this is where our programs happen. Next, the Social Fashion Factory main purpose is to provide for the livelihoods of the victims of human trafficking, of modern slavery. That is one of the major issues caused by the fashion industry, to provide, to help them become self-reliant and to use their own resources to achieve their long-term goals. It's important to say that SOFA is not only, and that's what the social enterprise is not corporate social responsibility. It's when the social goal is embedded on the culture of the organization. So SOFA is a social cooperative. It's a cooperative among 60% asylum seeker refugees and survivor victims of human trafficking and new designers and fashion professionals. Moving next, the purpose of the Social Fashion Factory is the environmental footprint of every garment produced in SOFA. So we not only try to eliminate and make sure that we don't harm the environment, but we try to see how we can regenerate the environment. And we do that with many different tools and approaches. Next. Here you can see our social impact model. So what and how we measure, in a sense, what is the impact that we want to see in our women beneficiaries, and how do we measure our social impact? So it's different models. We have a bribery and corruption policy, a whistleblowing process that's online on our website, due diligence process, living wage structure that's also publicly shared. We have signed the EU Charter for Diversity and Inclusion and Fair Trade certification. We're on our way from World Fair Trade Organization. Second, our environmental impact. We try, and we're in the process of becoming as circular as possible. We do have from the beginning zero waste processes. We try to use, as of last June, AI tools, 3D pattern making, 3D design. We try to eliminate all the intermediary waste, textile usage, and waste creation in prototyping our samples. Circular fashion principles, sustainable textiles. We have a very prolonged and extended catalog of sustainable textiles from the first moment that we were founded 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, on the 27th of March, 2014. So the local supply chain, we're as local as possible, and traceability and transparency process. We have been chosen as a focal point by the UNECE Sustainability Pledge for transparency and traceability. Next. This is, and Jesse, actually, TCBL supported us and in how we can build a production island, our assembly line, in order to have flexibility on how we work in production stations instead of having a line where everybody see the back of their colleague. Next. This is the mind map of how our social metric system was created. Next. Our social metric system is based on a number of variables. We can go next. We take a stakeholder approach, asking all our major stakeholders, beneficiary, customers, suppliers to the community, key indicator like gender empowerment, environmental impact, physical health of our beneficiaries, mental health, and other. And we publish our impact report. Next. This is our target group and our production processes. So we do white labeling for designers and brands. We do have our own Wear Your Origins, and we're on our way to making Zitailas, the revive of the sneakers. We also do mending and upcycling, and we also host the incubation of the prototype collection of new brands, new sustainable brands. Next. This is a youthful invasion from London. Some of the garments we created for them. Next. This is Alice and Grayson from our own Wear Your Origins project. Next. Levko from Singapore. This is linen. And this is the AI collection and the 3D pattern with 3D claw. Thank you. Yeah, next. We've been in the press, in documentaries all these years from 2017, and we thank the media and documentaries for sharing our story. And next, Wear Your Origins. This is our own brand. We'll go a little bit faster on this, just to go through the slides, if we may. So Wear Your Origins. Yes, next, please. Is a brand, next, whose goal is to eliminate the violence against women. The faces behind our clothes is our focal point. This is a program on fashion design, and the fashion designers are the storytellers, women survivors of human trafficking, 10 women from 10 safe houses and NGOs that we're working with, and at the same time, another 10 young fashion designers who worked with the storytellers to create the different collections. We're now at the stage of sewing and creating the prototypes. Next. These are two of our stories. The main elements are against war, immigration, slavery, celebrating pride. So on the right, we can see the Cameroon from Cameroon, and on our left, I think it's from Tunisia. So if we go next, it has three: social impact, social, environmental, and cultural. Next. And a film that we're trying to create, a Hollywood-based film based on the stories of Wear Your Origins, a social film. Yes, lots of sponsors and auspices. We can go a little bit faster. And then it's Fashion Revolution, the movement. This is another way of how, when people come together, they can actually make an impact. And the whole change that we see today is because of consumers, because of us, 10 years ago, setting up our offices around the world to talk about the collapse of Rana Plaza at Bangladesh on the 24th of April 2013. And then from 2014 and onwards, we've been celebrating and talking about, we're doing networking, bringing together everyone from farmers to the final consumer. We're doing advocacy at the European Parliament. and national governments. We're doing festival and events to raise awareness. We're raising and collecting data, and also capacity building and education. Yes. It's a global movement calling for a fairer, safer, cleaner, more transparent fashion industry. We ask that the planet and people are more important than profits. Next. So we love fashion, but we don't want our clothes to exploit people and to destroy our planet. We demand radical, revolutionary change. And we see that happening, and we're very, very happy. It is happening slow, but it is happening on all levels. And the European Commission and the new European Bauhaus are advocates for this revolution. Yes? Fashion Revolution Week this year on April, 10-year celebration. And I think that's all. Thank you. I think I was 20 minutes.
Thank you, Fiora. Yeah, I think we're on time, more or less. Yeah. Amazing information, a lot of projects going on. And I'm happy to see you're so hopeful and you have faith in the future. It gives us a good impulse to us as well, I think. I would like to invite Debora now from Fashion Lab. She will tell us how to empower local communities through the spectrum of biofashion. Hello, Debora.
Hello, hi. Thank you for this opportunity. It's an honor for me to be here today with all this brilliant mind, brilliant organization, association. So yeah, I'm Debora Florio, and I had a background in fast fashion, and actually, for me, community engagement was a key to shift completely my career and change it. So right now I'm in the, let's say, the sustainable part. I started working for around 10 years in the fast fashion industry as a retail manager for different brands for fast fashion here and there in Europe, until when I realized literally that like all the hidden side of fashion. And thanks to the community I'm part of today, that is Remake Our World, that actually is the sister, if I can say, of Fashion Revolution, becoming an ambassador and now a community organizer in Italy for the country I'm based. This changed completely my mind, my career, and thanks to that, today I managed to launch my project that is Biofashionlab. So we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So first of all, Remake Our World is what it is. It's a non-profit organization founded around 2013, exactly when the accident of Rana Plaza happened, and it's a global advocacy that is fighting for fair pay and climate justice in the clothing industry, so in the fashion industry. We are around 2,000 ambassadors all around the world. We have different hubs everywhere in Europe, US, India as well. We support change makers, so people that want to drive the change. We are a community, and we are powerful, exactly as the Fashion Revolution people, Fashion Revolution ambassador, because we understood that together we can really make the difference, and we can really see changes. We have different kind of campaigns. We do protests. We host events. We go to the school to host lecturers, courses. So we talk a lot with the young generation. And we try to collaborate as much as we can with different associations. Actually, we partner as well a lot with Fashion Revolution, Clean Clothes Campaign, etc. So we are really powerful just because we are a lot and we work together. To the next slide, please. Thank you. So for me, community engagement was really like the key to reach sustainability and to reach those sustainable goals. We understood that together we can really, and talking together, we can be more inclusive. We can really be responsible to local needs. The next, please, the next slides. And thanks to that, I managed to open the Biofashionlab. That is exactly the place where I try to create a kind of a community. But how? So Biofashionlab, first of all, is a physical space. I'm based here in Florence, in Italy, and is a multifunctional space where I put together education and conscious shopping. When I say conscious shopping is because I give the opportunity to emerging designer and brands that they have a really small collection, with a really short supply chain, everything controlled and transparent, to showcase their creation here and to talk to the customer through their events, through pop-up, temporary store, etc. Then we have here another part where I support secondhand and swap as well. So it's a kind of a clothing swap hub as well. So people can come here, they come with their unwanted clothes, and I give them a voucher and they can spend the voucher taking something that is already in the store. So we're just trying here to elongate the life of garments, basically. So this for me was the conscious shopping part. And then education, because we host different kind of events, workshops. We do a lot of we watch documentaries, especially the ones that are made from Remake Our World, that are called Made In. And so it's a way for me to give to consumer a new experience, a new shopping experience. We can move to the next slide. Thank you. So as I said, for me, it was really important as well to create a kind of connections, and of course, connection between people and between garments as well. So we organize here different workshop and different kind of events, exhibition as well. And then I try to connect as well the people with clothes. How? The secondhand garment, they have a label called an emotional label, where people, when they come to give us the unwanted clothes, they write it a memory or something that happened with the garment. And so in the label there is the name of the previous owner and what happened with that with the garment. And so whenever the other person is coming to buy the new, not new, but to buy the piece, he's going to know a little bit of the story behind the garment. He's just creating a kind of a connection, an emotion. And for us, this was important to just trying to avoid that the people and consumer are just taking something, shopping something, and then throw it away immediately without giving a value of the garment. So we can move to the next slide. The latest projects that we hosted here, of course, are our clothing swap. So we have monthly clothing swap where people just bring their unwanted clothes. It's a really fun event when a lot of people, the students, especially young people, they just come together. They share information, they share their passions, etc. And of course, it's fun because it's involved all the time. The looks, etc. So it's a way, of course, to create a sort of circular economy as well, to elongate again the garment, the life of a garment, of an item, and as well to create the community. in a way. We hosted recently an exhibition called Echo What, where a young artist wanted to talk through different kind of installations, performance, videos, the impact, the environmental and the social impact of fashion, and that was amazing because it brought many people that actually were not really aware about the industry. So it was really impactful. And then another important event that we had was a talk that the name was Collaborating Out Loud, and it was hosted in collaboration with Alison Morse, that is a journalist and a writer and poet from US, and she's focusing on garment workers' rights. So with her, we did a kind of a research here in where I'm based in Florence last year, and especially in Prato. We get to meet different unions. We start talking with garment workers, and this year finally we managed to have an event with her where students coming from different university, they came to listen garment workers giving their experience. I mean, sharing their experience and exactly saying what's going on behind the scene of the fashion industry, at least here where they are working. So again, another way to create a different kind of education, so more impactful for sure. To the next slide, please. Thank you. So again, so what we are doing here and how we can support the new European Bauhaus for sure is talking and promoting about the sustainability, the fashion industry, the sustainable fashion, the hidden side of fashion, talking about diversity, talking about the different cultures, because as well, we are trying here to use the space not only for fashion, but we are a little bit open for any other topic, especially when we talk about cultures. So we try to host, we are really open to any kind of people that is interested in using the space just to use their art or craftsmanship or their voice to share something. So that's for me the power of the community, of creating a community and engaging with them. And to the next slide, please. So yeah, that was Biofashionlab, and I hope I can listen all the other projects.
Thank you, Debora. Yeah, congrats for all the work. I want to confess that I follow Remake Our World on Instagram. We're also part of the CCC network, and we appreciate and yeah, it's a good thing that we exist. So thank you for that. Our next, I will go to our next guest, which is Miguel from Saber Fazer, who will talk us through the local textiles DNA. Hello, Miguel.
Hello, thank you very much to TCBL, Elvys and Marta for having me. Next, please. We have this not very automatic way of moving slides. So I have a very short presentation. I could say much more than this, but I'm stuck to the TCBL briefing, and I will present myself briefly. I'm co-founder of Barbot Bernardo. I'm an expert in design and innovation, and I've been working for the past 20 years as a consultant and educator, with a special focus on innovation, agroecology, business strategy, etc. After listening to the very inspiring talk from Fiori, I realized that me and my wife, Elvys Bernardo, my co-founder, are social entrepreneurs, because we are spent last 12 years doing impactful things. We thought we were just earning a living, but I guess that we are under this category of social entrepreneurs. Next slide, please, Martha. So our vision, because everything we do is related to sustainability, not only environmental social sustainability, but also social and economic. Our vision is all about education and research, and our knowledge can bring back agroecological productions and small-scale manufacturing to our region. So we are based in Porto, northern Portugal. We are in this center of textile production. So we were providing for the fast fashion, and nowadays not so fast, but still big scale manufacturing fashion. But we believe that through education we can bring back smaller scale production in textile fibers, and reactivate small scale manufacturing as well. We also believe that fiber production can be an amazing complement to food production. So we always talk about local food, biological production, organic, etc. Textiles can be an excellent complement, helping crop rotation, bringing organic manure, cross-fertilization, etc. So we are studying and researching a lot on this field. We identified many years ago this problem of lack of knowledge for small-scale production. So our industry was totally dismantled in the last 30 years, especially in the wool sector, which is our specialty. So we don't have small-scale processors. We don't have anyone to wash small-scale production. We don't have certification. We don't have spinners. We don't have carders or combers, etc. So this is one of the main focus we have right now, is to create the knowledge so small-scale production can be reunited. That small producers from craftsmen to entrepreneurs can access this knowledge and the network of professionals that can help them to bring back the production. And we are very interested in bridging the gap between urban and rural. Portugal is a country that is totally living by the sea, you know. So most of our population is living on the coastal areas, and our countryside is totally neglected. So we are very interested in bridging this gap, empower rural communities, reactivate value chains and textile value chains in interior lands. Next slide, please. So our company is called Barbot Bernardo. We mainly do strategic design, which means that's sort of like strategic consulting. We do design services from communication, etc., and we do education. We are certified as a vocational education and training provider in Portugal. So a good part of our business is research, content creation, book publishing, and education. And we have this unit called Saber, Fazer, which focus on educating and researching for natural fiber production. So we are creating new knowledge or updating new knowledge to the transition of production. So we have this more heritage, I would say, patrimonial view of craft and small-scale production in the country. We understand that, we think it is important, but our main focus is on the future. So how can we create new businesses, create new productions, and create new jobs for the future? So we are also bridging the past and the future through knowledge and education. Next slide, please. So one of the projects we are, so this is Nicolau, my son, he's bombing my presentation. One of the projects we are carrying on right now is Gateway Crafts. Gateway Crafts is an example of what we'd like to do. So we created this project to test social media learning methodologies. So we created a course on linen and flax production. It is a traditional e-learning course, and we are delivering in the next few days. Excuse me, paras com isso, por favor. Não posso fazer isso. And we are delivering in the next few days wool and spinning course as well. So this is a very traditional e-learning, and then we are adapting and transforming all the contents to social media learning as a gateway for more complex information. So we are trying to engage new users, new producers, new makers through social media, and bridging and bringing them to the more complex information. So the course is now online. We were a bit worried in the beginning. So this probably is very niche. So linen production. So will we have sufficient interested people to do it? But without almost no promotion, we have more than 300 users in just a few days. So we have 300 people doing the course and testing it and providing feedback. So it means that this sort of knowledge is actually really important and interesting. And it's the way we like to do European projects. So we like to have to fund and finance this sort of course that is very difficult to sell by itself, to make a business of it, but it has an extremely important impact. So if we have from these 300 people, 30 of them producing flax and linen, this is a huge gain for the sector. So because very few people is doing it right now because they just don't know how to start. Okay, so Gateway Craft is it will be functioning until June. So we expect to close the project by August, September. We have another project starting called Community Clause, which is about community learning and transmitting knowledge in a more informal way. So this is an example of what we like to do. Next slide, please. Our contribution to the European Bauhaus is mainly through training, research and education in production and small-scale manufacturing, agroecology and business creation and development. We try to do research and documentation production on production techniques and knowledge transfer. So we are book publishers. Everything we do tends to be transformed in tangible objects as books and e-learning courses. We are very interested in raw material production for research and education. So some of the proposals we are in Horizon 2030 or European Bauhaus projects are related to raw material production and urban agroecology. And of course, digital learning and technical book publishing. And I think I have another slide just to close. And this is a quote by my wife, Alice, and my co-founder, and the person behind Saber Fazer, and the one that actually makes things go further. And this sums up what we do and what we believe in. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you very much, Miguel. Really interesting insights. I recently visited Famalicão at CTV as part of another project that I'm working on, Redu Vintex, and I was impressed of how big the community around textile and fashion industry is there. It's amazing, the research that you do there as well. CTV, I think you know it probably.
CTV, they are big technological center.
Yeah. Thank you, Miguel. We'll move now to Jocelyn from FASK.
Yes.
Hello, Jocelyn.
Hello.
Tell us how important it is to give new opportunities to attract young people through fashion training.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, so we start. Okay. Okay, nice. Good evening to everybody here from Marseille in South France. Let's go to the next slide, please. So we are next as well. Thank you. I'm going to tell you about a school we have built here in Marseille from a network, fashion ecosystem network that we have called FASK. It means FA for fashion and SK for skills, FASK. Our aim is to support the economic development of the fashion ecosystem here in southern France, including jobs promotion, help job seekers to find some jobs in our ecosystem, help companies find people to work in, and also make companies know each other and work each other, make collaboration, etc. In fashion ecosystem, we mean textile, but also jewelry, perfume, all that is called in French mode et luxe, luxury and fashion. That give a lot of different jobs and a lot of different how to say that, products. It means everything we can wear and we can put on our skin. All that is fashion in our way of seeing it. This federation his aim is to make our territory more profitable for our ecosystem day after day. And knowing that, we have 3 years ago we have decided to build a school. So you can go to the next slide, please. So we have made this school that is led by companies, so fashion industries and atelier. We also have all the public partners, such as the regions, such as the states, the French state as well, and the private foundation as well, who help us leading this school and also giving money in order to make it not profitable, because we are a non-profitable structure, but we need money to make all that possible. We are labelized École de Production. It's a French label that make us reserve our activity to 15 to 18-year-olds only. It's a 2-year course. It's recognized as at the end of the courses. Our students have a degree that is called in French CAP. It's a French how to say that? It's a recognized degree by the French state. One of the specific things is that our students spend 35 hours a week in our school, 35 hours a week, with around 10 hours in theory, mathematics, French, history, sports, and more than 20 hours a week in real practice. We make only groups of 12 youth people. It's free for our students. And how do we finance all that? Is that 2/3 of our needs come from subsidies and help of companies and public and private funds. and also with 1/3 of turnover, because the time our students spend in real practice, they product goods for clients, for trademarks, for clients, that we make t-shirts, we make shirts, we make trousers. We produce the local collections, the local creators who need to get their ideas manufactured. Next slide, please. We some examples of companies where we have made goods for. Total Energy, very great, very big energy French company. We have made their t-shirts in the Rugby World Cup team that was organized here in France last year. We have also another client that we make tablecloths for them. And another example is Asia, who is one of these famous little creators. We made, for example, her 80 first shirts for her first collection. It was a few months ago, and this story is one of the best of the one I prefer, because how school made her dream of this young creator. Her dream was to manufacture her collection here in France and here in Marseille, but her demand was too small for the other atelier, the classic atelier, because they don't accept such little commands. So we made it for her, and she was glad about that. Next slide. So the idea is to say that our school is also an answer for this kind of youth people that want to not to be in the classic school anymore. They don't like to be seated on a seat and listening to teachers all day long. They didn't succeed in this area, in this scale, and we, when they come to us, they often don't go to school anymore since a long of time. I don't know how we say that in English, but in French we call décrocheurs. They don't go anymore in school, and when they arrive in ours, they find a solution for those who it is helpful for them. They find a school where they can get a degree, but going to this degree, they spend a lot of time doing things with their hands, and it makes them happier than only learning math on other theoretical lessons. Maybe I've done it. Yes, that's the end. I was short, but it's already 6 o'clock. So
yeah, thank you, Jocelyn. It's
welcome.
we're running a little bit late. I will invite Sarah from Where All, so that we have a little bit more time to have a round table at the end. She will present us, or she will explain to us her vision of lab education. Hello, Sarah. You have to unmute. Unmute. Sorry.
So now I've got sound. Thanks, Elvys, for the introduction, and everybody at TCBL for the opportunity. Yeah, I hope I'll be short. I practiced this last year in Georgia, 3 minutes. So anyway, yeah, I'm the founder of House of All. Sorry for the confusion. Our Instagram account is Where All, so the company's name is House of All, and you can go on the next slide. Yeah, I'm a fashion designer. with long background in sustainability, and after 3 years of study in beginning of 2000s, I moved to England, not knowing where to go within the fashion industry, ending up working for a fast-moving consumer goods luxury in the luxury sector, to return to Germany 10 years or 12 years ago, because I realized I don't want to be part of this. And around 10 years ago, I founded my first co-working space in Hamburg. Now I'm mainly researching really, and I've got the deep intrinsic motivation because I feel as part of nature. This is the picture in the center. And what I want to do is kind of reconnect people with what touches us daily on our skin. So I love design, but want to unlearn, or want everybody to unlearn fashion. I think you can go on. So the key values that I follow are open source and commons and open and co-creation, which is more or less open source. And my vision for fashion is local ecosystems that work in so-called cosmolocal manufacturing or cosmolocal production. And I want to get people involved in the design process to reconnect with what they're actually wearing, as I just said. And for that, I founded House of All 3 years ago, to engage them in the design process with digital tools. We got some funding by the, what do you call it in English, the government. I think it was for economics and innovation, BWI, to do some feasibility testing for digital infrastructure to get people involved. And the idea behind the whole model is that people locally decide for the clothing and adapt it to their local needs and produce locally. And the data is distributed globally. I guess a few of you might know the idea of Fab City, which actually I turned later on the founding member in Hamburg. Now this claim, can a fashion text propel cosmolocalism, is kind of a bit courageous, let's say. Maybe it's not the right word, the text. Maybe it's more like what I want to say is that it's a basic need and not a fast-moving consumer good. And one of my visions for the future is that fashion becomes something that we actually deal with or handle as something close to us. I guess we've got similar ideas to it, and the goal conflict really is how to make it affordable and accessible for everybody, because sustainability still is a luxury. Maybe we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So just a quick overview about House of All. I founded, as I said, in 2020. On Monday, I get the signature for becoming a non-profit society, or non-profit. Yeah, I don't know I think that's the English word. And we cover kind of 3 areas, which is design. As part of a research project, I opened my second open lab or co-working space, is a maker space, a couple of years ago, where designers can experiment and research into local making with open source machinery. but also traditional. I don't know where you see in the background, there's a loom in the background, traditional making. And in order to make this all kind of tangible, I designed an elementary collection that I put on a repository, and I am very much involved with open source ecology to see how can we standardize maybe these files. And recently somebody is trying, and I assist in finding an ontology to make it searchable, because obviously this whole infrastructure is not there yet to spread the spread the data across the globe and download it locally. And then education and R&D is a big part, because even designers, young designers, are not necessarily they are new to the idea of open source anyway, and not necessarily known to circular design principles. And there's a mix of professionals as well as non-professionals who come to our educational formats here. So that actually makes out a really big part in terms of where does the money come from, because the clothes that I designed and where the idea is for people to co-create, I also do co-creation workshops and with people who put their ideas into it. But the idea of the digital co-creation is not yet feasible as such, because there is no, well, the tools are not as good, let's say, as they could be. So that's that. Sorry, I lost it. The clothes were meant to be like pooled and rented to cover the cost together, and recently we started selling to, well, to just fund a little bit more, and it works better. You can go on to the next slide. Yeah, so there's a little overview about the co-creation sessions. That to the left is a co-creation session with some local woodwork. I don't know the word, sorry. They make in furniture makers to design their own garments. And you can go to the next one. That's the contribution. Sorry, I just lost the plot a little bit. That's a slide about the how can we contribute. I guess we are involved in local in researching how we can revive the local textiles fabrication in Hamburg. This is quite difficult because in Hamburg there is no, I think the last weaving mill closed 1995 north of Hamburg, and there is not really a history of industry like, for example, in northern Italy or somewhere else in Portugal. So our idea was to distribute the making amongst all the alteration tailors that are here, and we looked into local materials too, and the local materials is wool, and yeah, we've got a lot of alteration tailors, but it turns out that it's not as easy. So what the biggest issue we've got actually is capacities for them to, because they were one-person businesses, for them to actually make clothing, and then obviously the pricing. And with the wool, it's not soft to the touch, so people wanting it or do they want it, like the demand for it, create the demand. So I think what we're really good at is circular fashion, open source, community building, and educational formats for co-creation. Yeah, so next one I think is already the thank you slide, where I want to point out the I am because you are, and since we are I am Ubuntu. This is really a very important point for me, that we learn that fashion is the result of a resonance experience, and we need each other and collaborate. And I still find that collaboration is not the foremost goal of a lot of people. I know we are here, but I think we are all a bubble. So for a beautiful future, I hope we work together on it. Thank you.
Very beautiful presentation, Sarah. Thank you. We'll move on to the last but not
Thanks.
least.
Very nice.
My colleague and friend Anca, on behalf of my bine, who is presenting the two social enterprise, giving us an overview on what can be done to develop a new social economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvys. Thank you, everybody. First of all, I want to express that I'm very touched by everything that I heard before. I really feel I know we are running out of time, but I want to take this time to express my gratitude for all of you for this reminder of the meaning of being part of this bubble, and that the world really needs our work. So I'm talking today from Romania, from Iași. It's the very eastern border of European Union. On behalf of these four entities that are written there, my bine, Cuib, Redu, and Clean Clothes Campaign Romania. And I am. If you can move to the next slide, that will be hard, I think. So I just copy pasted from the Instagram. It was easier to copy paste my description. But first of all, I'm a nature lover, I would say. I became a mother recently, and this changed a lot my life. I have an interdisciplinary academic background, a PhD in economics, but I did biology, geography, ecology in the past. But most of all, I like to introduce myself as an activist, doing my best to apply this most popular principle or slogan from the political ecology: think global, act local. And I'm doing. I started working on this many years ago, about 15 years ago, and I co-founded the NGO called My Bine. You can go next. My Bine, meaning for the better. That aims at capacity building for sustainability on the integrating the three dimensions of sustainability: nature, society, and economy. You can go, I think if you can go with some slides, you can go faster. So this is what we do. They're not only empty words, and you have this in the right side of the slide, our action areas. They will be reflected on the next slide. The five action areas. Here it's only in Romanian. It's an infographic that we just prepared for our 15th year anniversary the previous month. We had several projects, activities, initiatives, each integrating or each one enforcing another dimension or another action area. Some of the projects became even more popular, more popular than the mother organization, like Cuib and Redu, that will be the highlight of today's presentation. If you can go on. Cuib, so Cuib is an entity, it's a green social enterprises. We started to work on social economy even before having a law in Romania on social economy. We knew that we are acting on this field, but we became certified later on. And this first entity, so the conductive wire of our activities, of our action, is the so-called sustainable or ethical or responsible consumption and production. Apart from carrying education activities on all sorts of dimensions, we realize in the very beginning that we need practical examples as well, that we need to build initiatives in order to provide alternatives for sustainable consumption and production. And we started with food. I know this panel today and the ones before were devoted to the textile industry, but I see these two industries or consumption dimensions or sectors very interrelated, very connected. Not only that, we need both textiles and food daily. So we use them on a daily basis. They both have a huge impact on the environment, but as well on ourselves. Yeah, we are what we eat, but we are what we wear as well. Sarah just mentioned before about this very very important connection now of the clothes with our skin. I think with both of them we have a very intimate connection, but apart from the impact on the environment and on ourselves, it's as well that they are really the two industries that are the most famous or infamous for what we call modern slavery, child slavery, and for social injustice in general. So when we started to approach to try to build alternatives, we started with Cuib, approaching food, and we integrate several principles. They are listed here. You can go on. So we only serve vegetarian food, local food, seasoned food. We have several solidarity initiatives providing free food for refugees or for homeless people. We do zero waste catering. We are about to become the first zero waste certified entity in Romania, and it will be like a benchmark for Europe, for European Union. So yeah, we pioneered a lot of human sustainability dimensions, let's say. And from Cuib, we moved on after Cuib was founded 10 years ago, almost 11 years. And afterwards, we founded Redu, another pioneering green social enterprise in Romania that approaches textile waste. So we started with a mission to creatively transform textile waste into new products. And we create new products, new clothes, accessories, but as well other types of products that support low impact lifestyles. Apart from that, we do a lot of work on unlearning. I think Sarah again used this term of unlearning or re-educating, or on promoting, raising awareness on the hidden costs of the industry and changing the consumer's behavior. And again, you can move on. Since we are aware and we supported indirectly the fashion revolution movement as well, but since I don't know, maybe since 2016, 2017, we started to work with the Clean Clothes Campaign network. And in 2020 or so, we were invited to represent Clean Clothes Campaign Romania. How we can contribute to the new European Bauhaus. I noted the three main contributions. One will be this knowledge on how to approach sustainability practices in urban environments and how to integrate them. Then the second one, the know-how we achieved on holistic approach to sustainable economy. Holistic approach means that we integrate the social and the green dimensions, yes, and as well several materials, pedagogical tools for education for the general public. Then I came across this quote the other weekend that I found I found it appropriate to finish my to conclude my presentation. It's from Umberto Eco, and it reflects this the importance of keeping, like, being naive and curious, and the enthusiasm that Fiora spoke in the beginning. Yeah, to really to try. We were told several times at the beginning that we are pretty naive or unconscious in our approaches or in what we want to do, but here we are 15 years later and still going on. And I think this had a lot to do with the power, the trust, the faith on imagining, being able to imagine new worlds. Thank you.
Thank you, Anca. And thanks for everybody who pitched and presented, and for the introduction from Fiori. I think we can bring everybody back on the screen for the roundtable, or for the 10 minutes that we have left for the conversations. And I think we can start already with one question that came up on YouTube. A viewer asked, one second. Do you think it is possible for Biofashionlab or those in other cities similar? I think we can speak about Redu as well, or about the business that Fiori presented as well. If they can be, they can survive without funding, if they can be financially sustainable. And I will start with Debora, maybe, because she was the one.
Yeah, sure. So yes is the answer. I'm not, Biofashionlab is not funded by other entities. Actually, it's a normal business. Think about, I mean, Biofashionlab in this case, specific case, you can think about like a consignment store. So of course it's like a normal store, because the secondhand clothes, it's possible as well, not just to swap, but people can buy. So it's a normal store from one side. Regarding the education, just think about a little bit of a private school. So everything has a cost. Maybe it's not huge, to be more to include more people, and more people interested. So yes, it's totally doable. It's just a matter of the market. It's a matter of the location, but it's really doable, absolutely. And again, I'm not funded by other entities. I'm a business. I'm not a no-profit. Of course, if it would have been a no-profit or as an association, maybe it would have been easier, faster in terms of creating, I mean, more awareness. I could have done something bigger, but it's doable. It's doable.
Great. And maybe you can move to Anca as well.
I think it's doable as well. We resisted for 10 years with a bistro and 9 years with a workshop, textile workshop. But it's very challenging. We are from an NGO. We are 2 certified social enterprises, but we don't have any subsidies, nothing from the government. Yeah, the mother NGO has other activities or on campaigning projects, educational projects, but the business activity was not funded. And it's a struggle. I mean, we are always on the verge of collapsing, I would say. And we created these entities as well to prove that other types of economic activities can take place. We call it economy with a human face and with a positive impact. And as well, we created because we didn't want to receive funds from private companies. We were invited by several corporations, to be funded, and we didn't want to. We refused, even though we are vulnerable financially, because we thought that we can't be financed by entity that are not that don't follow the same values and principles. So we did that, and we were very vulnerable, as mentioned. but until now, the NGO supported the green social enterprises, not the other way around. Even though when we founded them, we thought that they would give us some economic benefits as well. And they resisted with huge efforts from from several people involved. Not me, Elvys, and other people, but it's not easy, at all.
So maybe it's also a matter of the business area that we are positioned in, because we work with textile waste from factories. It's a very complicated business model in which we are pioneers. We're trying right now to develop some digital tools to help us ease the process and to gain a little bit of step forward to make it more sustainably. Financially sustainable, to support more employees, maybe, because it has the power to do that. We saw it a lot of times. What about Sarah? Ian, what is your thought on financial sustainability?
I also go rather with Anca, saying it's a struggle, but there's two factors that make it a struggle with House of All and me. The first one is that from work I decided to create a model or run a model that is different to the usual models. So I decided not to sell clothes, and I tried. I mean, this was a goal conflict that I was actually trying to solve, is say how to make it accessible and affordable, even though it's sustainable. Because when I make it locally, it has to. I mean, the jacket or something has to cost 600 euros, really, and probably even more if I'd be paying everybody as much as they deserve, not as much as they say they take. You know what I mean? So, and the idea was commoning to share the cost amongst everybody with a monthly contribution, which you could also call a subscription, but on a more trustworthy level. But this didn't work, which is why I started selling. And say, look, you can decide whether you buy it. And now again, it's people who can afford it, they buy it, but there's obviously a niche. So that's for that part. But House of All has got the pool, the wear, and also the design, which is the lab and labs, to run labs without funding, like a maker space. Unless you have a maker shop or really high contributions, which to me is tricky, because I want people to have access to certain to the knowledge, to the machines, make it accessible. So I think it's tricky. I guess also it's doable, but it needs a good team, and it needs a good team and a good location. It needs a good location, probably.
And lots of hope. Miguel, you want to add more to the...
Yes, well, we are a for-profit organization, and so far we have succeeded in being profitable by itself. So when we talk about public funding, we are, in our case, we are just talking about 10 to 15% of our business. So, and this public funding is grants from European projects, which so far we are working only with small scale projects, and this is not very important for us. So we do training for private individuals and organizations, consulting, sales from our shop, which is really important, and design services. We employ 6 people. We work with a huge network of external partners, and we like to pay everyone more than the average in our market. So far, it was a struggle in the beginning, but we are a family business, and we live off the profit we make with the company. So I think that it is possible. Yes.
Great. I don't know if Jocelyn is still there, but I also have a question. We can have 5 more minutes, I think, from the presentation. How can we, the businesses with the social mission, influence the regular businesses and try to convince them that money are not the end scope, even though we know the gap is very big between this type of businesses? I know Miguel just said it's a for-profit, so but it also has a social mission behind it.
Yeah,
No?
so we
The end scope.
we all need money to
Yes,
live,
of course.
to feed ourselves,
Yeah.
and to buy sustainable garments from time to time. So yeah, I think money is important, of course, and what we do here is also after researching and educating on textile production, we also provide consulting services for business strategy so that people can actually make a living from their work. It's a matter of scale and distribution. It is important. It is not viable, we think, as it is distributed right now with the concentration of money in the few. But yeah, I think like a democratic, plural, and social fair world will have money, but well distributed, and people will be well paid for doing the right thing.
So yeah, how can we influence other companies to do the same? That was my question somehow, to have the same mentality or the same values.
Maybe I don't have an answer, but I'm very curious about Debora, because I think it was very inspiring how her transition from the fast fashion, her background, and how she came to work with this impact in a conventional economy, but with a totally different impact. And maybe she can tell us how she was influenced, how she made the transition.
I mean, my experience was completely different, and that transition was made just because a certain point in life, while I was working in all different retails, I mean, in different stores for those brands, I ended up in a store where I met a customer that had an addiction to shopping. And because I'm empathetic, I discovered, I mean, this person was giving me a sort of sadness and a kind of I don't want to say depression, but I was really like kind of like empty, and it was really harmful for me. From there I started studying consumer behavior, and then all this work that is behind the scenes of the fashion industry was completely like opening up to my mind and to my eyes. So that was my aha moment when I was shocked, because I was part of the system. I was pushing those brands to do more and more and to increase at least 25-30% of their profit every single year. So I was part of that, and I didn't know anything. And for me, it was incredible. So that was my moment. But unfortunately, today, for me, still really hard to talk with brands. But that's why I'm starting with consumers and students and people, everyone around me. So yeah, that it's where I found more can I say, like, positive feedback for sure. With Remake Our World on the other side, we reach them, and we talk a lot with them, but of course the conversation is quite kind of like strict and tough nowadays. So
You reach to the brands?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of campaigns, and what we basically do, we push them. For example, right now we're pushing them to sign the international accord.
Yeah, we know.
Nike, exactly. So
Yeah,
Nike,
yeah.
their workers, and we literally send emails to the board of directors, and we talk with them. So there is an open conversation, but of course it's low and it's quite strict. It's not easy yet.
Yeah. Sarah, do you want to add more or not necessarily? Okay.
Not
No?
necessarily. I think the only thought that I've just had is that you can reach people on a human level, right? I mean, everybody feels as part of nature. And at one point, there's this thing. I mean, if somebody has got kids, I mean, if you reach them on a human level, then it should be possible. But there's always these implications we all know of.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and for all the presentations and for all the work that you did, and TCBL for giving us the opportunity. I think we can wrap it up and say farewell, and hope to see you soon. Another types of event. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.